Magnus Carlsen, the 5-time world chess champion, ended months of speculation by announcing that he will not defend his title in 2023. The 31-year-old Norwegian is not retiring and vows to be the best in the world, and not care about the World Championship. That means Chinese world number 2 Liren's last round candidates tournament win against Hikaru Nakamura has earned him a lucrative match against Ian Nepomniachtchi. According to current regulations, FIDE candidates tournament winner Nepomniachtchi will now play the World Championship against candidates runner-up GM Liren. The world champion Magnus Carlsen explained, "I've spoken to people in my team, I've spoken to FIDE, I spoke to Ian as well. The conclusion is very simple, I am not motivated to play another match. I don't have a lot to gain. I don't particularly like it, and although I'm sure a match would be interesting for historical reasons, I don't have any inclinations to play and I will simply not play the match." World Championship challenger GM Ian Nepomniachtchi said, "Frankly, it's quite disappointing. The rematch was something I was really looking forward to. It's quite harmful, but at this point it's hard to evaluate how harmful," Nepomniachtchi said. "From a human perspective, it's quite an understandable decision from Magnus, and I respect it completely, despite my personal disappointment that it happened. However, we have this big tradition in chess of almost 150 years, and that is something really priceless." GM Liren said, "I am very excited about playing a World Championship match to fight for the crown next year. I knew he had doubts, but I expected him to play." GM Hikaru Nakamura commented, "The catch-22 here is if that I had actually finished second, I'm pretty sure Magnus would have played. The idea of a world where I could be a world chess champion and Magnus is not the world chess champion, there is no way that Magnus would really be okay with that, at least, based on my understanding of the situation. It stings that the draw would have got me second, I'm annoyed because that would have been a great result. But it doesn't sting in the sense that I would have gotten a match, because I don't think I would have." GM Vishy Anand, the 15th world chess champion said, "I understand his decision fully. In a way, I was also getting tired of playing matches every year or 2 years several times in a row. In a sense, because I lost, this problem solved itself. Magnus's problem is a little bit that he isn't losing." GM Vladimir Kramnik, the 14th world chess champion said, "It's a very rational decision, which was expected. Whether it's good or bad for chess itself, who knows at this moment? We will see." GM Garry Kasparov, the 13th world chess champion said, "Staying on top is harder than getting to the top because you are competing against the feeling you have achieved your life's goal already. Staying motivated after climbing the chess Olympus is like climbing Mount Everest a second time, or a sixth. Humans need purpose." GM Nigel Short commented, "It is sad because Magnus is such a brilliant player and we all enjoy watching him. I can understand his decision though, I have only played one world championship match, and that was physically and emotionally draining enough. The toll of playing one after another must be stupendous. Nevertheless, the game is much bigger than one individual and we will move on. There will be new champions, with wonderful games, and we will admire them in turn." GM Maxime Vachier-Lagrave MVL commented, "Anyway, it's Magnus's decision. For me, it doesn't change anything for now. It's a pity of course when the world number 1 and world champion for 10 years is not part of the cycle anymore. So we'll see in the next few years." Asked whether he feels the world champion now has less value, Vachier-Lagrave replied, "To be honest, I thought it was already worth less because I think it's not adapted to our time. So I think there are probably better ways of designing the World Championship. Of course, it's been a tradition and a lot of people don't agree with me on that. But I still think it was maybe time for a change and maybe this move by Magnus will be a catalyst." GM Wesley also commented, "Definitely shocking. Magnus is still the big favorite. He is clearly the strongest player so it's very shocking. I can understand that he's played a lot of World Championship matches already and he doesn't want to play, I guess, 14 classical games, and there's also a lot of training involved. Maybe he wants to do other things. At the same time, I feel this will give other players more chances, and more initiative. I think Magnus has been number 1 for 11 years so it's quite depressing for other players." Laughs, "Now that he's not part of the World Championship cycle it's a big sigh of relief. But it's definitely interesting because he's very young and he's got a lot of gas left in his tank. We'll see what happens." GM Ruslan Ponomariov said, Magnus' decision should come not as surprise as it was circulated in mass media before and Magnus already explained his reasons. Do we really want more speculations about this topic? GM Daniel Naroditsky, there is no question that Magnus' decision comes as a disappointment to every single chess fan. However, it is important to put things into perspective. Magnus has affirmed and reaffirmed his dominance over the chess world, and his reluctance to undergo the punishing process of yet another match is understandable. It is a treat to watch him play, and I look forward to watching him pursue his remaining chess goals and hope to see him in the 2024 Candidates Tournament. GM Jesse Kraai made his thoughts pretty clear in a short but powerful tweet, Ding Nepo obviously not a dub C match. GM Jacob Aagaard commented on the suggested devaluation of the World Championship. With so many statements that it is not a World Championship without Carlsen, I can only express my relief that he did not retire. By this logic we should all stop playing chess then smile. The same comments were common in 2012 where Magnus had not participated in the cycle. I do think it is nonsense to say that Carlsen prevents his challengers from becoming real world champions by not playing. Only Kasparov managed to keep the title and not play Smile. GM Nigel Davies put things into perspective. I would estimate that for something like 30 to 40% of the history of the World Chess Championship, the official champion has not been the world's strongest player. And in the grand scheme of things it's really not a big deal. Agadmator, one of the biggest streamers in the business, added some historic perspective, the only champions not to lose their title in a match. Magnus Carlsen joins the ranks of Morphy, Olakine, and Fischer. WFM Alexandra Botez, commentator and streaming superstar, said, obviously it's a very personal decision for Magnus. I'm sure it was a long time coming and I can't imagine he took it lightly. While I respect it, I feel sad that the chess world will no longer experience seeing one of the GOATs compete at this peak. FIDE President Arkady Dvorkovich issued a statement, in which he said, Magnus Carlsen deserves nothing but respect from FIDE, and from the whole chess community, in whatever decision he makes regarding his career. Only a handful of people in history can understand and assess the tremendous toll that it takes playing 5 matches for the title. His decision not to defend his title is undoubtedly a disappointment for the fans, and bad news for the spectacle. It leaves a big void. But chess is now stronger than ever in part, thanks to Magnus, and the World Championship match, one of the longest and most respected traditions in the world of sports, will go on. When asked if he thinks that the World Championship is devalued when the best player is not involved, he replied, yeah, I guess so, but that's not really my problem.